Hi there, I am Laurie Delk.
Hello, I am Catherine Sarah Myers. Rara is how I am affectionately known.
And we are the Gratitude Girls. And tonight we are here. We are going to talk to you about goal setting and putting things on your calendar for 2018.
Yes, it's great. 2018 is here. I remember doing 2017 goals like it was yesterday. So if you are busy, the year is going to fly. And if you're not busy, then hopefully 2018 will fly by for you. So goal setting is a really important part of what Laurie and I do apart and together as well. So Laurie, can you tell me on your list of priorities, so when do you do your goal setting for 2018?
I do them in the month of December. I kind of think about them all throughout the year, but I actually physically write them out in the month of December.
Okay, great. So if somebody's watching our show tonight or tomorrow, and it's still the month of December when you're watching it, it's not too late. Don't worry, don't panic. It's not like, oh, well, it's not the right time, so forget it. I'll wait till next year. So this is the month that you write it all down. Okay, so do you write your goals out? I'll just ask you a couple of questions and then maybe we'll share our strategies. Do you write your goals out for the day, the week, the month, the year? How do you do that?
Yeah, so I look over what I've done in the current year that I'm in, and then I write them out for the year, what I want for the end of the year of what all I want to accomplish. But then I do break it down by quarters and by month, and then also by week. So that way I know each week what I'm doing to end up being able to reach those end goals. So I start with that end goal and then work my way backwards.
Okay. Is there, so maybe I'll just let you explain a little bit about how you do it. I won't ask questions and I'll listen to your whole process.
Yeah, so in several different areas. So I always write goals in several areas. So I have personal goals, I have spiritual goals, I have financial goals, and I have business goals. And I run 5 different companies, so I have different business goals in different areas for that as well. And so, but I will just write down like where I want to be December, the same time, December of next year, where I want to be, what I want to have accomplished. And then I think about how I can break that up. And so then I just break it up into smaller pieces to do quarterly, and then also monthly, and then also weekly, and technically also daily, but I usually don't write that part down. But that way I can see at a glance what I have to do and what I need to be doing daily and weekly in order to achieve those goals each month and each quarter. That's going to get me at that end goal by the end of the year.
And Laurie, what happens if you're, going along the way and you see, oh, I didn't do that. I missed that. This has been one of those weeks. Do you give it all up? What do you do?
Yeah, no, you clean up the milk and just keep going. So you regroup and figure out, because there's always going to be, that's it. You have to have that flexibility. You have to have that plan, because things are going to come up. Things are going to happen. Everybody's life is a roller coaster, right? And things come up and things have to change and take place, unexpected things. And so, but you just regroup and then move forward. But you might have to readjust some things to maybe work a little bit harder, like if you slacked one week, or if you took an extra vacation, or say you won a trip, and you got to go on a trip, to Cancun for a week. And so you didn't work as much there. Then when you get back, you work a little bit harder though for that week that you took off to play. And
Laurie, oh, sorry.
Yeah, so you just readjust, that's all. So that way you can get right back on plan and get right back to where you need to be. It's same thing like with health, over the holidays here, I said I was going to stay on plan, and then, something just looked too good and I took a couple extra bites, probably more than I should have. But just regroup and go to the gym more tomorrow and stick to it tomorrow and, get right back on plan. Don't just say, oh, well, just get back on plan. So the same thing is just kind of like the toddler that's learning to walk, right? When they fall, they don't go, this walking thing, that's too much. I'm not doing it. No, they don't do that. They get up and they try again, right? And they just keep going. So that's what we need to do too. Just try again and keep going.
And Laurie, what happens if, and I'll share my strategy next, what happens if you're ahead of schedule? Like you get it done and you're not behind, but you're on point. So do you slack off? What do you do?
No, you never slack off because if you're on point and you're ahead, then yes, at the end of the year you might reach even more and better goals than you did in the first place. But then again, also something may happen through the rest of the year. So say this is July, you've still got another 5 months to get to the end of the year. So something may happen during that time. You never know. So the same thing, you still just want to stay on plan and stay doing what you're doing. And if nothing happens and you get to the end of the year and you reach your goals and you surpass your goals, then how great is that? That's an even better blessing.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, Laurie, for sharing that. I'm just like on the edge of my chair. I want to go and show you what I do. So what I do is I do happen to use, for those of us who are using our send out card system, I do like to use the goal setting sheet in our downloads. That's like one very simple format that I use. Also, I'll share that. You go into downloads in your send out cards, resource center, and you can write down your goal. Now you can break it down. What I like to do is I like to use that. That's great. Sometimes it's more difficult to plan out the steps, but something else that I'm doing is I like to look at a calendar. So we all know there are 12 months in the year, and we know that January is coming. And once January is over, you have 11 more. It's all built in for us. We don't have to wonder where are we at. We know where we're at in the year. So the reason why I like to use calendars is I like to say, once I use that goal sheet, I still go back and I say, okay, the month of January, what is it that I want to do? So if I'm talking about, let's just say a trip, right? Because that's easy to plan for. You say, okay, I want to go on a trip on this date. I want to book it on this date. I need this much money to go on that trip. This is simple. You say, I'm going to have this money by that date. If you see you don't have that money as you're going along each month, then there needs to be an action for that. So I put an action that's required and a dollar value that's necessary to take that trip. So I'm planning a trip in September to go to Italy. I know the date that I want to take the trip. I know when I want to book it, and I know how much money that I need to have to take that trip. So every month I have a goal and action steps. That's pretty basic. So if I don't make that goal on that month for some reason, I would have to take more action the following month in order to make sure I make that goal by September. But if we're talking about a goal that's a little bit more esoteric, like perhaps a rank, not that it's esoteric to have a rank advancement, but you don't know when that's going to happen because we're not always in control of that, like we are booking a trip. I like to write on a calendar who I'm working with. So if I'm working with Laurie on something, I will sit with that person and say, okay, what is your schedule like? How can we do this? When can we talk about this? And I like to collaborate the monthly schedule and say, is it once a day? Is it once every 2 days, once a week, once a month? And when I have the commitment and I have the team in place, then I like to work with the dates. And then I like to work with the steps like Laurie talked about. So there's an annual goal, an end goal, whatever that goal is. It could be less than a year. And then I like to look at the month, and then I like to look at the week. And I like to look at the daily steps because I believe if I don't have an action for myself, if I'm participating in this goal, whether I'm an accountability partner, it's still a goal for me, it's part of my time, or I'm actually looking for that goal for myself. If I don't have a daily step, then how will I know if I've met the requirement that I've set out for myself? If I say, well, once a week I'm going to check it, well, What do I do? So very much like Laurie, I like the steps, and I like to collaborate with people because I know that the goal is never just about me. It's very rarely, even if it's a goal about my food, it requires other people around me. So I like to pull in that team and work on it together. Does that make sense, Laurie?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes, and having more people on your team and those third party eyes looking at it for you is always a great help anyway, right?
Yes, and I'll share one strategy that really works, and I call it 10-10, and I have a 10-10 call. So a couple of years, 3-4 years ago, our strategy for goal setting was 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. Set the goal at 10 in the morning. Tell us by 10 at night if you hit it. Now, that's real fun accountability. And I still run a call called 10-10, and that's a weekly call, and that is at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your level of engagement? Not how good was the call. Like Laurie, what is my level of engagement today? Well, it's a 10, but some people, you can tell that their level of engagement isn't high. And when they put it out there, like, yes, my level of engagement was a 7 today because I'm really distracted about something. So my calls are 10-10 calls. Those are accountability. I use those for goal setting, and I do run those calls every week. And it's been years, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to pull the team together like we're doing right now. So Laurie, for a Send Out Cards business builder who might be on this call, or it could be anybody building a business, would you give a final word of advice so that way we can get on to writing and finishing up our goals for the month of December, for the year of 2018?
Yeah, just one thing I always try to do is during this month, I look at where I'm at and thinking back last year is where I'm at today, where I wanted to be. And if it's not, trying to look at what I've done throughout the year and what I need to end up adjusting, obviously, in my schedule for next year. So next year I can be at the goals that I want to be at the end of the year next year.
Right. Awesome advice. I like the awareness. When I work with my clients, I like them to, and myself, to look at what am I currently doing so that I know when I set my goal, do I have leaps and bounds? Do I have steps? If I'm going to chunk it down, are those steps digestible steps? Are those actions digestible actions that I can actually take? So being aware of where are we right now, taking inventory. And like Laurie just said, take inventory of the last year. See how you got to where you are. Decide where you want to be next year. And this is the mindset that's going to get you there. And check that out. Look at that. What did you do over the last 12 months? Did you take off for 6 months and still make your goal? So those are the habits, right? I think it's really important for us to take personal inventory. And maybe there are some patterns that you will and won't like every November, I don't work for 2 weeks, or every August I don't work, whatever that is. Being aware, and it's a life, right? This is not a schedule, it's a life. It's how we roll. So I do believe that being aware of what's going on with ourselves and with our partners and our accountability partners, our spouses, our children, whoever we're making this goal with, whoever we do that with, we then can be in it together. So if you're building a Send Out Cards business, if you're building any business and you're on this call, do it together. Laurie, I really believe in this statement. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Right. Yes, absolutely. I love that saying as well.
Well, I want to wish you, Laurie, a very, very happy holiday and happy new year. And to all of our viewers, happy holidays, happy new year. We will be speaking to you in 2018 for sure. So get your goals down, think about them, sleep on them, write them, review them, make sure that you're comfortable with it. And when you're ready to take action, just take the action, but make sure you take the action. And I look forward to hearing from our audience about your goal setting and your successes for 2017 so we can help you reach your goals for 2018.
Yes, Absolutely. And send us a message. Let us know how you're doing and how you're accomplishing those goals.
Great. Yeah, check in with us. We're here. We're the Gratitude Girls, and we are so excited to be sharing another wonderful year with great, great things ahead for all of us and for all of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the year.
And a prosperous new year.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.